This is a somatic yin yoga flow practice where we're going to be inviting a little more movement than usual into our yin yoga postures and mixing them in with more strengthening yang yoga postures. So we'll be playing around with this interplay between relaxation, intuitive movement, and stronger feelings in the body. Let's start lying down on the back. As you come onto your back, keep your knees bent. Let your hands come to your belly and let your knees rest in against one another as you inch your feet away from each other a little bit. And take a big breath into your belly and exhale through your mouth. And again, inhale. And inhale. And now take your arms down alongside your body. Bring your feet back to hips width. Separate the knees to hips width. Coming into bridge pose. So this is a more yang style bridge pose as we take the hips up, roll the shoulders under the body one at a time. And you could keep your hands separate or interlace your fingers as we press up through the tailbone, press the front of the hips up toward the sky. Squeezing the thighs, squeezing the buttocks, and now releasing your hands, let your hips come back down, and spread your legs out long on your mat. Interlace your fingers, press your palms up and away. And now coming into banana pose, taking both feet over toward the right, and taking both arms over toward the right. And now your left hand, turn it a bit so that your thumb comes up toward the ceiling more. And take your right hand to hold the outside of your left hand. And use that right hand holding the wrist and hand to gently pull some length into the arm. And as we hold this yin-like banana pose, we're gonna invite some movement by letting this left ankle come over the knee, and then maybe letting the left hip peel up off the ground a little bit, and then rolling it right back down. And let's do that 2 more times. Third time. Good, and now keeping the body in this banana shape, let the head turn side to side. And find a comfortable place to rest your head, maybe at the center or maybe slightly to the left or the right. Let's let go of the left hand and now bend the left elbow and take the right hand to the left elbow and gently pull a little bit more traction up into the left upper arm triceps as you feel this variation on the banana pose. Inhaling into the left armpit, upper arm ribs, and exhaling and releasing, coming back to center with your whole body. Let your arms come down to your sides and take a breath in here, and exhaling, hugging both knees into the chest. Lift your head up toward your knees and release your head back down. Taking both feet to the ground, clasp your hands behind your head, and coming into some abdominal lifts, let's lift up through the chest, the head, and come right back down. So engaging the belly to do this. You can do it as slow as you'd like, or follow mine. We're coming up into a third lift, and releasing back down. Lift again, and release. And 4. Release, and 5, release, 6, release, 2 more. 7, back down, and 8, back down. Extending the legs long down the mat, arms over the head. Take both legs to the left now, both arms over the head and over to the left. Banana, taking the left hand to hold the outside of the right hand. Turn it a bit so that your thumb comes up toward the ceiling more, and gently pulling a little more length into this arm, into this whole right side of the upper body. And the right ankle comes over the left ankle. And let's move into this little lifting, kind of rolling over just a tad bit, and then rolling back into it. And again, right hip coming up and over, and rolling back down. Last time, bringing it up and rolling back into it, coming right back into this full curve of the body, this banana shape. Take a deep breath into the whole right side of the body, right hip, right ribs, right waist. And turn the head side to side. And now find a comfortable place for the head to rest as we come into this triceps variation, bending the right elbow and moving the left hand to the right elbow to gently traction that arm. Then the direction you're pulling with the hand is away from the trunk and slightly over toward the left. Breathing into the right hip, right ribs, right armpit. Softening here. And releasing, bring the body back to center, release your arms down to your sides. And interlace the fingers, press the palms up and away, press down long through the soles of your feet. Exhale, bend the knees, hug them in, lift your head toward your knees, and release your head to the ground, feet to the ground. Clasp the hands behind the head, and now some easy bicycle lifts. We're going to take the left elbow toward the right knee, bring it back down, right elbow toward the left knee, back down. Second round. Right knee to left elbow, second side, come back down, third round, left elbow up, and now the right elbow. Feeling the abdominals, last round here. And the last time, awesome. Release it down, take a moment for a rebound, resting and feeling all these different energies that the body is experiencing in this moment. Stretching, moving intuitively, relaxing, strengthening in the abdominals. And now bending the knees. And as you hug your knees in towards your chest, lift your head up toward your knees and begin some forward and backward rolling. If this doesn't feel good on your spine, you could skip this. We're gonna move back and forth about 7 times. And where we're gonna end up is on the belly, on the opposite side. Like this. And as you come onto your belly, bring your arms down alongside your body and lift up into locust pose. Staying here in locust as you feel your body strengthening through the muscles all along either side of the spine, the erector spinae as they call them, the muscles of the trapezius and the latissimus, all these large muscles of your back body. All right, let's release this down and turn the head one way and relax. And coming back to the center, lift up again through the chest, through the legs, and through the arms. And now sweeping the arms around and all the way out in front of you as you lift everything up again with your inhale. And as you exhale, take your right hand around and bring it down alongside your body onto your sacrum, back of the hand to the sacrum. And now lift up your left arm, your chest, your head. And taking the right arm now back out in front of you. Left arm sweeps around and to the back. Bring it onto the sacrum. Lift everything up. Inhale and exhaling. Taking the left arm back out in front of you. One more move here. Bend the elbows and squeezing the shoulder blades onto the back, making fists. Spread out your toes. Lift everything up as high off the ground as you can and releasing. Turn your head the other way. And soften your whole body against the ground. Feel yourself breathing against the ground. And bring your head back to the center, coming into Sphinx with the elbows more or less under the shoulders. Legs can be closer together or farther apart, whatever feels good, whatever works best for your lower back and sacrum right now. And now in the Sphinx, let's explore head position. Head can come more energetically up, and this involves kind of pressing down into the elbows so the arms are a little more active. And even the spine, the back of the spine might be more active here. And now the opposite, softening the muscles of the spine, letting the head come forward and down. And again, inhaling, lifting up, pressing down into the elbows. And exhaling, releasing to the opposite, total relaxation of the head. Last time, bringing it up, pressing down through the arms and exhaling back down. And now we'll take it into seal pose, which might be hands quite forward and out wide as your mat, perhaps if you're on a mat. Or if you want more sensation, more intensity, you can lift up with the hands closer to your body. So this is all up to you. And as we come down, again, we're going to just keep moving up and down into this seal or variations of seal as you explore different arm positions. So each time you come up, you have a different arm position, farther forward or closer back. Wider arms, narrower arms. None of them is the right way to do the pose. They're all just different ways to experience a back bend. And now as we come into our last 2 or 3 of these, we're going to find one that we want to rest in for about a minute. If it's too much for you to be on straight arms, then do the Sphinx where we started, on the elbows. And let the body be relatively still here. but the breath is what's moving now. And releasing all the way down onto the belly. Press your hips up and back into child's pose. And coming up onto hands and knees and all the way into forearm plank, which in the yang yoga world is sometimes called crocodile pose. Clasping the hands or palms down, whatever your body likes, as you lift up your knees. 1 full minute here. And one of the secrets of holding this pose without it getting too tiring is to let yourself move around. Shift your weight forward and back. Shift your hips side to side. And this uses different muscles instead of exhausting the same muscles. Really feeling your core working here, your lower back, your belly, your thighs, your buttocks. Very good. Let's release it back down and press the hips up and back into child's pose. And this time with child's pose, let your palms lift up, press your fingers forward into the ground so your arms are active, and press forward to bring your tailbone back toward your heels. Kind of a yang child's pose. Let's bring it back up, hands and knees, and take it into waking dragon. Step your right leg forward and lunging. You are invited to follow my journey through the variations here or to take your own moving journey. So we'll begin with the right hand on the knee. Turn your gaze up toward the sky. There's so many variations of dragon pose, and I like them all, and I don't like any of them for a really long time personally, so that's why I do this waking dragon a lot. I like to just really have a few moments, a couple breaths in each. So we're coming down onto the elbows now. Couple breaths here. Let the right knee wing out to the side if that feels good. And coming back up, left hand planted on the ground, right hand comes up and back to hold the left foot. Dragon holds its tail. Find the back bend, bring your head back in space, lift your gaze, or turn your face up if your eyes are closed. And releasing back to hands on either side of the front foot. And now here, let's climb the hands up on top of the front knee. Lift up the chest. Clasp the hands behind the back. Extend the arms back. Take more of a back bend. And release the arms. And hands on either side of the front foot. Stepping back, plank pose. Inhale the breath. And as you exhale, drop the knees, come all the way down to the belly, lift up into your low cobra or high cobra, and exhale, child's pose. Active arms again, pressing fingertips into the ground as you press your tailbone down and back towards your heels. And now come back up, hands and knees, and stepping the left leg forward. Waking dragon, right hand on the floor, left hand to the knee. Maybe turning the gaze up to the sky. And now taking both elbows onto the ground in gecko. Letting the left knee open out to the side if it feels good. And coming back up and planting the right hand under the shoulder once again as you circle your left arm up and back, bending the knee, holding onto the right foot, dragon's tail. Finding the back bend, skull comes back in space, left shoulder back in space, face turning up toward the sky. And releasing, bringing both hands down onto either side of the front foot and climbing up, hands on top of the front knee, pressing hands into the knee to bring your ribs back in space, bring your head and shoulders back in space, and now sweep the arms around, clasp the hands, open up the chest, let your hips sink down as you find maybe a little more back bend here. Good, and releasing, hands to the floor. And tuck the back toes, coming into plank pose. Inhale the breath with or without dropping the knees this time, coming down and into cobra or upward dog. And now to downward dog. Bending the knees one at a time, finding some movement in the hips, the legs, walking the legs. Good, bending the knees. Child's pose, arms down alongside the body. And now coming up, taking it into thread the needle pose and rolling panda pose. So starting with thread the needle, left arm comes up, inhale, and exhale, slide it under the right, keeping both knees on the ground, walk the right fingertips up so the arm comes straight, and lengthen the left side of the neck, bringing the left ear away from the left shoulder. And breathe and soften here. If it's more comfortable to widen your knees, feel free to do that. Steady breath. And now taking it into rolling panda by taking the right foot out to the side like a kickstand, extending the leg, and rolling a little bit more toward your back body. So your gaze should turn more up toward the ceiling here. And you should feel the stretch more in the back body, the back of your neck, the upper back, trapezius area. And this is a good pose to invite a little bit of subtle movement by pressing into the right foot. And you can kind of feel this sensation of like, oh, I could roll over into a somersault, a diagonal somersault, but I'm not going to. I just am enjoying the stretch of the upper back. You can play around with different positions of this right leg as well. And for the last couple breaths, let's wrap the right hand behind the back. Hold on to the front of the left thigh or left hip area. And coming back around, back to hands and knees. And take some cat and cows to feel your spine, feel your shoulders. I'm gonna turn around just to get a better angle on the other side. Let's plant the left hand as you're ready. Lift your right arm up, inhale, and now slide the right arm through. Beginning with both knees on the ground in thread the needle pose. and walking the right ear away from the right shoulder. Breathing into what you feel, softening. And now taking the left foot out to the left side, like a kickstand for this rolling panda pose. And the rolling part is that feeling of, oh, I could roll over like the panda, but I'm not going to. Just you can press into the left foot to get this pulsation, lovely pulsation in the upper body, massaging all these tissues. On the right side, the right shoulder blade. Maybe some different positions of the left leg as well. For the last couple breaths, wrap your left arm around your back, holding on to the front of your right hip or thigh. And come back around, left hand to the ground, unwinding, coming back, and coming into child's pose. Breathing and resting here. And coming up now, taking it into a seated wide leg forward bend, dragonfly pose, with the legs as wide as feels right for you, which might be here, it might be here, might be wider. And as we find this pose, you might want some cushioning under your seat, a blanket or a pillow. And then inhale the breath, and as you exhale, come forward. If you want to support your chest or your head with blocks or props, this would be a good time to get those out. The target area here is the hamstrings, both legs, the groins, both legs, and the spine and sacrum. Lots going on here. And with our somatic influence today, I'm going to begin to invite you to move your torso side to side, real slow, a little bit to the left, and then veering a little bit to the right. And keep on going side to side. And if there's a spot that feels just really yummy and you want to stay there, then stay there. Maybe you end up facing a leg all the way over the leg. Maybe you end up even beyond a leg. Conrad and I both do some version of this most mornings. Dragonfly, where we just kind of have an adventure within Dragonfly. And the next part of this adventure for now is going to be to take the right hand onto the leg, roll the left shoulder back, take the left hand to the left hip, turn the left cheek up toward the sun, and now take this left arm up and over the head. Maybe you easily hold your foot. If not, maybe you take your left hand behind your head. Maybe you like clasping both hands behind the head and resting the right elbow on a block or two, or just on your leg. Maybe you like letting this left arm explore the far reaches of space. You could bring it behind the back. And just let's experiment with the head wherever you are. Turn your head a little more down, gaze toward the leg, and then turn your gaze forward, and then turn your gaze up. And bring this left arm back up, exploring space, reaching out to the side. And bring it up, let the torso come up with it. And let's bring this over to the other side. The left hand journeys down the leg, right shoulder rolled back. And bring this right arm up and over. Holding the foot if that's in your range of motion. Maybe just taking the right hand behind the head instead. Maybe both hands clasping behind the head. Finding your breath. And now the right arm, exploring space up and around the lower back. Breathing here into this side body stretch. And now taking the right arm back up, back to reach all the way across, full side body stretch. And now folding back down to the center. Walk your hands back to the center and take a few luscious breaths right here. And slowly coming back up. Bring the legs in, and before we rest back, we're going to add a little bit of a yang thing here, which is boat pose. Lift your feet off the ground. Your hands can stay here at the back of the thighs or extend forward. And now to challenge yourself, bring your torso back in space so there's more space between your knees and ribs. And now bring it all back up toward the midline like you're kind of zipping it up, and open it up. Challenging yourself once again, and now zip it up. And one more time. Zip it up. Very good. Soles of the feet together. Easy bow forward in. Butterfly. Softening spine, head. Hands can be on the floor or the feet. And slowly unwinding, come all the way onto your back. windshield wipers. Take your feet as wide as your mat or wider. Open your arms out to the sides. Take both knees to the right. Turn your head left. And inhale back up to center, over to the other side. As your knees come up one way, continuing in your own rhythm, the head turns the other way, that the knees are falling. Back and forth, side to side, take your time. If it feels better, you could reach your arms up over your head, which is what I always seem to want to do here. And bringing it back to the center, straighten out your legs, come into a final relaxation, star pose or whatever position your body wants to sink into now to feel the effects of this wonderful practice in your body. Taking a deep breath in and exhale through your mouth. Two more times, inhale. Last time. And now totally sinking down, the weight of your ground completely releasing into the ground. Totally surrendering now into the gentle force of gravity. Gravity which is always hugging you to the surface of this Mother Earth. Allowing yourself to be nourished, energized, and healed by this loving earth. And now bending the knees, hugging them into your chest, rolling to one side, pausing on the side. Take a breath here. Breath out. Push yourself up into a sitting position, and with your legs crossed in a comfortable way, palms together in front of your heart, take 3 breaths in and out. Inhale. And that is our practice today. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time.